but and it sort of applies pressure in a similar fashion where you can kind of just camp a lane. You got a lot of gravity. You know, you bring extra heroes.
Have you explained the gravity to Lacoste to make sure he's fully on board with this?
A hero with a lot of gravity means they're going to naturally draw other heroes towards them.
No, so Enigma.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
T-Gov, it took him a while to understand the whole concept. Lacoste, straight away, got it.
Lacoste, he's played a couple TIs, okay? He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, now we're going to use that.
so
Now we're going to use it.
Rubik as a response to Timbersaw, I really love it, where you have pure damage that he has, use it against him. Usually he's vulnerable to that kind of stuff. That's going to bring some more AoE, more team fight for Cyber Legacy, extra damage inside the Chronosphere. I want to see what Earth Spirit can do. Like, I'm still not sold out on the hero. He received a smaller buff, I'd say. But from time to time, he just shows up, like position 5, position 4 with silence, with the stun, AoE ability.
I'll say I'm a huge fan of the Spectre pick here. I think when you have a Timber and an Oracle, you wanted a carry that was naturally tanky. There's a couple ways to deal with Void, but the one that oftentimes you end up having to use is just something that's going to sit in the Chrono and live. And Spectre's great for this with a lot of innate damage reduction. Quick question, Lacoste. Do you know how the Oracle ult functions with Spectre's dispersion? You're not like, if you're Oracle ulted and you start taking a bunch of damage, but you're not actually taking it, you don't still spread it around, right? And if not, does that mean when you pop after the ult that you immediately push all the dispersion damage in that one frame?
That's a great question, and I don't have the answer. Someone from chat will know. Do you have the answer?
No, I've no clue. I feel like I should know that, but they've changed the mechanic a couple times since I was last looking at this hero duo.
Oh, professional analyst right there. Like, Dota is so complex. Like, sometimes there's changes that like don't affect heroes right away, but affect them in a different kind of way, where like indirect change. And there's like Dota changes all the time, so a lot of this stuff is always going to be different.
A lot of the panel have not been a fan of Spectre though, and you're siding with it this time around. How come?
I'm not necessarily a huge fan.
Okay.
But I just think that if you're going to play against a Void with Drow and Troll both banned out in the second phase by Cyber Legacy, that there really just isn't a better option.
Okay, now I'm with you. Yep.
I could have seen them maybe go for something like Morphling, but ultimately it's just because you're playing against Rubik Lich, so two supports that are naturally very squishy, and they're quite susceptible to high reach enemy carries. So Spectre can just pop ult, boom, you found the Rubik, and you also have a non-blink dagger required initiator in the Earth Spirit, plus a Timbersaw. So you have two heroes that naturally want to be in the fight, right? They're going to absorb damage, they're going to provide vision just through their method of engaging, and then Spectre can pretty much just say, oh hey, Earth Spirit, there's the Lich, let's go get him. And then boom, you're two heroes on top of one. And there's really just no real way you can even game plan for that as a Lich. You're just going to feed.
So one of the few times it's making sense then. There we go.
Yeah. I love Cyber Legacy's approach. Like, they get Void Spirit. He can be played at the off lane. He can be played at mid. Like, everything's still opened up for them. They're waiting, even though they don't have the last pick. It's still a versatile hero that does so many things, and they are very limited on the catch. Like, you have Earth Spirit. With the Void Spirit, you can easily just dodge that. So Viper banned out. This hero has been really popular. Can break Timbersaw, can break Spectre. They go with Pango. Oof, they also don't have great heroes against the puck. Yep. Once again, Omegalil getting the last pick that is very hard to catch. It was the Storm Spirit in the previous one.
Well, it's not just that. The leash from the coil will prevent Pango Roll, Void Leap, and the Void Spirit escape mechanisms as well. So you have guaranteed lockdown for enemy cores. The trouble is, do you have the damage and can you pressure towers? Because once again, you have literally zero tower pressure, and your team fight is also very limited. You've got control, but your damage is a bit low. And ultimately, I think Void inevitably post BKB just kind of starts to take over the game. But I like Omegalil's draft a lot more than I did in the previous.
That's what I was about to say. That I'd say they won the draft like 70-30 in my opinion, because what they have is very hard to deal with. Once again, Puck, you have no real lockdown for him. I want to see what kind of item build Void Spirit will go for. There's always an Orchid Rush. I think Orchid's one of the better items right now. like here's like Storm, Queen of Pain, Void Spirit. They got buffed and nerfed at the same time because of the Orchid. Like it's cheap, which means that you want to buy it, but the other mid laner, if you're playing against a similar hero like that, he's also gonna get it.
So which way you going, Lacoste? Starting with you, man.
I'm gonna go with Omegalil.
Okay, you're looking at a third.
I will say I think their draft is better, but I just think that it's too difficult to pull off, and I'm not a believer in Puck. Ultimately, I think, like I said, co-op games, I'm like, oh, more than 2 deaths, I think they'll lose. I think if Sunlight dies more than once, Omega will lose this game, and ultimately, I just think that this execution from Cyber Legacy is just going to be easier, and they're just going to win.
Well, let's see how it goes. Carl thinks it's a 2-0 for Cyber Legacy. Lacoste believes we're going to a game 3, but Sunlight is not able to die. Two people that have not died, they've stuck with us this whole time, and they're ready to bring us more of the game. It's Pycat and KP. It's time for you guys to shine once again as Pycat's throwing his head to the side. He's gone. He's gone. I'm sorry. Stay with me.
I mean, well, what's up, Pycat? Which one of them put you to sleep? Was it Carl or was it Lacoste?
No, I was just trying to, off the fact that he said we haven't died yet. So.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you were trying to lean into too much. Well, let's lean into the game, think about the game a little bit, because what I'm hearing here is a really split opinion. All right, someone is just basically sitting here going, "Well, the caliber of player is too good to lose," and then the other side really wants a game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Omegalil, they have some very tanky heroes, and I'm curious if Cyber Legacy have enough damage to be able to deal with all of these. Like, are they going to be able to kill the Timber and the Spectre, like with the Oracle behind them? Like the only thing they have in this Chrono is some Rubik spells and a Chain Frost, seeing as they have these, melee cores. But then again, Kuma and Void.
See, I was waiting for you to get around to it, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you leaned into this heavily the more from last game. You were correct, and apparently, unlike most casters, you're not cursed. So you're going to say this. And it sounds like you're leaning to a Kuman Void victory because it's Kuman Void.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if can I really, like in my heart of hearts, can I really go against the Kuman Void? I just don't know that I can.
Use your brain on this, and as well as your heart. Okay, use your brain. You didn't do it with the Morphling game, so I think you're a Kuman fanboy. That's confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, just can't go against Kuman. You just can't.
So like Kyle tried to give it a bit more detail, right? That it was a case of he thinks Omegalil's draft can succeed, but the line is so thin that he doesn't have faith in them as a team and his players to like skirt that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I also definitely think that the Cyber Legacy player, like the Cyber Legacy squad, have more talented players in terms of just skill.
Sure, it's like you
but I do
through
think
every
that
one of these and you'd know all the names, right?
Put it like this. If the draft was reversed, I would definitely favor like Cyber Legacy in that scenario. Like I think they would win the Omegalil draft, but
that's true.
I think that they might still win this.
It would be a Kuman Spectre.
Yes, and you just can't go against the Kuman Spectre. That would be ridiculous,
Notice in a pattern here.
Yeah.
I think we were discussing a cutoff point. So for like Kuman PL, we don't think he's like the best at PL.
Nah,
so would that
you
be
can go against the Kuman PL. That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. Is there anything unorthodox you've seen him play in the pub games, maybe alongside it you've played as a carry role where you're like, I don't want to go against that either? Out of like your standard POS one.
Outside of the standard ones.
Yeah, he must have done something a bit wacky, is the polite way to put it.
That you can go against or can't go against.
Depends how you want to portray you can't go against. Like,
I mean,
you can't take it seriously, or he completely dumpstered you and it was embarrassing.
I mean, I'd be okay to play against Kuman Gyro, but I don't want to play against Kuman Terrorblade,
Alright, that's respectable. I don't feel like we're seeing too much out of Gyro at the moment, right? Like,
nah.
What's holding that hero back at this stage? Because there was a time when you couldn't talk about a draft without mentioning Gyro and usually Io in the same line.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes the hero just doesn't fit with whatever's being played or how the game is being played, or it's just not comfortable drafting the hero in a certain phase. So we'll see. Gyro, he usually just comes around, like Eventually, he's out of it for a little bit, and then he just comes back. We'll see.
That's the beauty of Dota in a lot of ways. Blizzy in a bit of trouble, but Kellen shouldn't be able to close the gap. This has been really back and forth. Both the supports almost went down. Now both the cores are limbering around with next to no HP and barely any regen in sight.
Yeah, and just kind of relatively just like quiet laning stage so far. Kind of even-ish, mid, slight advantage, Void Spirit, top. Not the best lane for Timber, but he's doing okay. You know, he's not out of it. He hasn't died. Bottom lane.
Speaking of
Okay.
deaths, the mid lane of all the lanes. So it seems like Sunlight,
Right.
I think he must have got caught. Yeah, he was low mana, and that was the moment just Magical goes in. Which maybe shouldn't be occurring. This one is a bit more expected kill-wise. It is a Void plus Lich combo. But that mid kill, Cyber Legacy, they're off to a strong start here. I mean, how bad is this for Omegalil? Because by Kyle's assessment, Sunlight's game is already over and he should be typing in GG right now.
I think this is a very big issue for Omegalil at this point. Like the fact that he's ahead in terms of CS, and now he also gets the kill. This is gonna be such a big level discrepancy, and this might hurt them quite a lot.
The one lane at least going their way is bot. You can already see that both members of Cyber Legacy have been forced to make the walk back to base, so Kellen is at least getting room to farm. But it really comes down to the question, like, similar net worth around like 15-20 minute mark, like what's going to do more, Faceless Void or Respect?
I think it all depends. It kind of depends on which way they kind of choose to go with this Void. If he wants to be a bit more farm heavy, or if he's gonna participate more in fights. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go some sort of farming kind of route, because he's gonna need a lot of damage to be able to deal with both the Spectre and the Timber Saw at some point. But maybe, I'm not so sure it's gonna be about who's doing the most out of the Spectre and the Void. I think it might come down more so to who's doing the most out of the Void Spirit and the Puck, and some of the other heroes, the position 4s potentially.
Well, speaking of that Puck, the only thing he's doing more of right now is dying. They can't even kill off Slayer. Oh, the jump in Magical.
Wow.
Beautifully done. He's going to actually get the secondary kill, and this Void Spirit is becoming a mighty big thorn in the side of Omegalil.
Yeah, and Magical at this point now, he's doubling the net worth of the Puck at 5 minutes in. That is definitely not what you want to see right now. Already queuing up the Orchids here on the Void Spirit, and he is almost 2 levels ahead of the Puck.
And this is how Magical likes to be in the state of the game. Like, yeah, everyone loves to win their lane, but I feel like Magical historically as a mid has always been that guy. Like, if you start to give him a little bit of a lead, he does take over the game. It's kind of his heroes in combination with his playstyle.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, a lot of players probably prefer playing from ahead, but yeah.
It's just,
that
I'm
might
trying to think
definitely
like
be the case.
his Na'Vi days, especially right the last squad. It was always a case of like you could feel if he got shut down in the lane, that roster couldn't like achieve much. Whereas if he got off to a good start, like usually he was the one kind of popping.
Right. Probably definitely true.
Probably Thank you for your. That's like one of those moments on panel where they go 60%, 70%, 72%.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
And bring you in for nothing. All right. So far, though,
don't tell them.
What? Whoa! I did say nothing. I'll pay you a few dollars. Right now, I don't know who's going to pay the blood bill in mid, because someone's going to have to sit here eventually, and I don't know if anybody on the side of Omegalil can do that without dying.
Yeah. I think kind of what they're hoping for here on Omegalil is that you see this Timber up on the top lane. He is already pressuring this tower. The tower is already quite low, about
me one ball.
I don't know, 15% or so.
Oh yeah, he has got the pressure there. The problem is that Void's still farming and Spectre is not, because the rotation from Magical got that kill, and he might be able to find a second one on the Dire Arrow with his anger. They did get Lich in the top. The only concern I have is, like you said, the creeps are pushing in, the tower is low. You haven't got a catapult though, so yeah, Pango's going to TP. That should stop the push. Not if he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, if he can at least get the creeps, he should be quite happy. Just getting experience here. I don't think you can stop the Timber at this point, and you're gonna need some more levels, I think, on your supports to be able to actually kill him. And yeah, we are gonna see, it looks like the Battle Fury coming out of Kuman, and I think this is quite a nice choice. He is kind of recognizing that he is the one, you know, the one carry hero on his team, and he realizes that he has to scale, and his team is gonna be able to do a lot for him to buy him time, and so he's just gonna be allowed space.
In the meantime, trying to buy a little bit of time as the play comes in from Omegalil onto the Pango to get the kill. It does feel like that time's going to be critical, but you can already see that Omegalil have started to up the pace they're playing at, right? Like, they understand they now need to shrink this map.
Yeah, and I think like the answer to your question of what they're going to do about this mid is kind of the answer is this Timbersaw. And it's not just about the mid, you know, it's not just about the top. It's just about this Timbersaw, what he's doing right now in the game. He's going to pretty much any lane he wants, and he is pretty much unkillable. They're gonna need the Void Spirit, Lich, and maybe Rubik to be able to have a chance at taking him down. Right now, they're kind of just trying to delay his pushing by bringing heroes and killing creeps. So Timbersaw so far is the answer.
I was gonna say, as soon as you have the Orchid, he should be a feasible kill, right? Like, that's what you're waiting for. Magical is getting closer to that. It's not too far off now.
Yeah, I mean, he will be possible to kill, right? It's just that it's very difficult. The question is just, do you have enough damage to go through the reactive armor?
Yeah, it's also that classic, was this worth it feeling, right? Where if you bring too many heroes, even when you get the kill. I mean, this way, they're making it work. And it's not taking too long either. The raindrop did slow it down, but that feels worthwhile.
Yeah, and this is a nice sign for Cyber Legacy, because they realize that they can kill him, and he also now realizes that he can die if he plays like this. And this will force him to think twice about playing like this. And him playing like this is kind of what has created this space for the Spectre to farm, and some of the space for the Puck to try to catch up and, you know, be able to play the map a little bit. And now he's not going to be able to do that the same way he has been.
Just made it sound like the kind of the Timbersaw first kill attempt is like the biggest psychological bomb in Dota in this game, right? Like, well, if he survives, then Cyber Legacy, like, well, I don't know what we can do anymore. But now that he's died, he should be a lot more defensive and not feel as, you know, encouraged to make these aggressive plays.
Yeah, I think at least until he gets this hood out, then he might once again try. Or he can also do this with his team, as long as he's with his teammates.
Yeah, Ruby didn't last long, and the Remnant's off the mark from Magical. He still does not have that Orchid complete. Kuman did rotate here with the Chrono. No chance to use it. I think we just got a little preview here, right? Like, the difference here, I think you were highlighting when we saw in the draft a bit, is like, do you have the damage on Cyber Legacy to kill Omegalil's heroes? Whereas when you make the comparative the other way, Cyber Legacy's heroes can just disappear in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's just like this Timbersaw, he's gonna buy a lot of space, try to give space to the Spectre so that he can become big too.
Is this space? The Spectre's not there. They could have maybe tried to fight that with the Horn, but they know with the Roll Thunder being held, there's no point fighting into a choke point.
Yeah, I mean, you can still see that Omegalil are still the ones kind of gaining gold advantage. They were just up, they just hit that 1k mark like for a few seconds, and quite possibly thanks to the Midas on the Spectre, you can see he's 500 gold ahead of the Void, despite being 0 and 1 and the Void being 1 and 0. So Midas so far paying off.
Yeah, and so far when you look at Kuman, you know, the Battle Fury, he should achieve a reasonable timing, but you could already see that the way the Timber's playing, instead of Kuman just being hitting creeps all the time, he's having to come to these fights just in case they need that extra stimulant in the form of the Chrono.
Yeah, Kuman doesn't you don't really want to join fights as Void unless you have to. In a game like this, at least. Like, in a game like this, you just want to be focused on hitting creeps, and should kind of some fight come to your tower where you can just port in and get a few kills, sure, you'll TP and use your Chrono, but you don't want to be active and just look for fights with this Void. He just wants to be focused on hitting creeps.
The future's not ours to see.
It really is on the other Void to make the space. Magical finally might be able to. The Orchid's now flying out. This is where Sunlight's game should get a lot harder. He's only halfway towards that Yules. He has made some progress towards recovery, but right now this is definitely not the Sunlight show.
No, it definitely is not. And we're going to see the Orchid complete now on Magical, on the Void Spirit. They're going to smoke up, most likely going in towards this bottom lane. No, it actually looks like they're going to the Spectre. I don't really like this.
It feels kind of choreographed, right? Like when you're in that situation as Kellen, you can see there's nobody shown on the map, and you understand that Orchid was coming now or in the next minute.
Yeah, and it kind of just doesn't make sense because there's not that much to be gained here. They're still waiting for this void to push in this wave, and it's gonna take quite a long time. So, you know, like it's just kind of like if this Spectre decides to leave this area, then you have no play. Whereas bottom, you have many plays. You can choose to kind of go around this mid, try to get a ward out, try to find someone in the jungle, go bottom, fight. So, smoke, good idea. Direction they went with it, maybe not the best.
Oh, pretty cool. On the Bignum. Not the quickest kill, but it will be achieved in the end. And roll fun from Blizzy to control onto Earth Spirit. The Chrono has been thrown down onto 2, trying to get rid of the Oracle in time. They throw out the start so you cannot use the false promise. The Bash ensures the kill. But now Spectre does arrive in the fight. The Chain Frost bounce around. Malik needs to actually split up a little here. Slayer will go down, but he does a lot of work, and it might get them to kill into Malik at this rate. They need to be careful, though, because Vampire is still alive, and Blizzy no longer has that Roll Thunder. Swashbuckle forward, though. If they can get 1 or 2 bashes, Kellen could easily go down here. They are not getting the RNG in their favor right now. Movement, there it is, finally. But Kellen's got the dagger back. He's able to move away, and Magical has the actual step in 2 more seconds, but they're blocking him out so he can't chase forward. He has to retreat. Everyone's just ignoring Kuman, and Kellen will get out in one piece.
Yeah, nice. Kuman ends up getting a double kill. This is like the ideal way to fight for this void. Just porting in and getting some kills. Also very nice usage of the Orchids there by Magical. Just putting it there on the Oracle, recognizing that they wanted to kill him before he gets the false promise off and drags the fight out even further so that they have to commit more. And then just not having to pursue that far, and ended up getting this kill on the puck too.
Yeah, of course, the rough part for the side of Cyber Legacy is now after this fight, like the aftermath, puts Omegalil in a position where they can continue this push. Like, Malik is not being deterred from ticking all the boxes and what he's required to do in this early game. Silence out on the puck. Oh, this will be a big kill. He will achieve it. The Fade Bolt ensures they have enough damage to put him over the mark. They still haven't addressed Malik. They did just ping him now. He may have bitten off more than he can chew. We'll go for the TP out attempt. But Rubik is going to arrive in time to get the lift out. And it looks like he's here for the long run.
Yeah, it was a very ambitious like porting attempt. Like, he saw the Rubik port in, and then he chose to port after waiting for quite a long time.
Yeah, there was definitely a window where he clearly could have got out. And while he's wasting a lot of those time, if they get this kill, it's going to be painful for his progression. They do have good control. They need to use the Orchid. They're still on cooldown.
I really don't know about this chase.
It just
He's
feels
buying
wasted,
way
right?
too much time.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we've seen this one way too many times. Usually it's not in a pro lobby, though. It's usually in our pub games.
Could you cue the, the Benny Hill music?
It feels appropriate.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. You need some kind of cool glasses dropping music. Maybe it's the, you know what it is? It's the CSI Miami moment, right? It's just a ratio. Glasses drop.
I see. Yeah, so buying a lot of space for a Spectre here.
Doing cool. Magical was decided to try and go for easier kills, but there's just too many heroes behind his park now. Now the Timber has arrived again. Has Cyber Legacy learned their lesson? Yes, they say no. Wherever he is, we leave, guys. This is pointless. And when does it get easy as well? Because, the other issue you ran into here, because you're not building Spirit Vessel on the Void Spirit, who the hell's picking that up? I don't think they're ever going to build one in this game, so Timber's not going to be impeded anytime soon.
It might be the Pango after the Greaves or the Mech. It's one option. Pango has been a hero that does that occasionally. You can do it on the Rubik, although that seems kind of awkward. I think just going for some sort of Battle Fury into... I mean, I feel like at some point in this game, I think we're going to see a Silver Edge on this Void. I would be surprised if we don't, seeing as how there's both a Spectre and a Timbersaw.
And you can understand why, as Rubik dies top, you can understand why the Void Spirit went for this Orchid, right? Like, he could have rushed his Spirit Vessel, but you focus on the puck, right? The fact that, I think we'll have enough damage to the Timber, and I'll always shut down the puck. And now, with that Orchid, they might find the golden goose here as Kellen gets caught out by Free in his own jungle.
Yeah, and that's a very, very nice kill to find. So the idea is this Timbersaw, he's kind of just like running around, showing his face at different lanes, and he wants to force them to go to him and to hit him and try to kill him, and thus buying space for the Spectre. But Cyber Legacy realizing that this Timbersaw, he's just, that's just when he accomplishes. Yeah, he's just a distraction. The real thing is the Spectre, right? So being able to find the Spectre instead, then they force the Timber Saw to switch his place on the map. So very nice kill to find for Cyber Legacy.
Might be fun, another kill instead kill on the Vampire. Remnant goes out, they chrono onto 2. Magical joins the chrono just to even up the odds, and they get 2 kills on the supports, which should open a push on this tier 1 top. And,
and
I
we're
guess the
starting
other...
to see why you gotta think twice before playing against the Kuman Void.
The boxes are ticking. I feel like we should have you on that panel, because, you know, so far, although it seems a bit Kuman-y fanboyism, you know, you have given limitations to what you back from him, right? So far, the Morph is acceptable, the TB is acceptable, the Void is acceptable. Won't back a Kuman Timber, but...
Nah. Not a Kuman Timber is not a thing. Oh no.
Not with that attitude. Blizzy. Maybe have some attitude problems after this death. No easy way out of that. It's a lot committed for a kill into a Omegalil though.
Yeah, you're happy with it. They maybe would have preferred to get the kill on Spectre, putting him even closer to the Relic and Radiance, but...
Meanwhile, Malik cuts one down. Magical did get a killer before that, and they'll find a second one on the other support on the side of Omegalil. And they've remembered, they're just getting flashbacks right now. This is why they had that moment around the tier 3s with the Timber, is to remind them for the rest of the game, don't do it. Don't chase him. Don't play with him. All right?
Yeah, they've realized the distraction.
Imprinted onto their mind right now. They're like, okay, we will kill him with loneliness. Nobody plays with him.
Oof, that's the worst kind, man. That's brutal.
And it's not like you can easily get towards these towers all the time, right? Because you've got the Pango and you've got this Void Spirit. You have ways to easily push out waves as Cyber Legacy.
Yeah, definitely. And with the Battlefield and the Void, making it even easier. And we do see Kuman kind of slightly trying to separate himself from the rest in terms of net worth.
Can you call out a Magical? I don't know if you have the damage for this, though. If you can actually get him rooted in time, there it is. Vampire arrives just in the nick of time because he was halfway through the Dissimulate animation.
Very big kill to find there, especially Spectre being able to pick that one up. He's going to get this wave top, uses Midas, and I think this should be his Radiance. And now things are going to get a little bit dicey if you are Cyber Legacy. See, the Spectre against both of these supports is very effective. Both Lich and Rubik very much so dislike having, you know, a Spectre just kind of haunting in and fighting you, as they so easily die to just Radiance and Dispersion damage alone.
I mean, right now, neither team supports are enjoying their game, as Oracle just got picked off in the Dire Jungle. Like, every fight, that's the big priority here, right? Is now we're going to see these haunts with a focus on taking out the supports of Cyber Legacy. But then when you look on the other side, Kuman, every fight, more or less, is targeting the supports with the Chronos. You have to, really. Though they found a bigger target here. The Puck is going to get the Eels off, but that's just a free setup for the Remnant. You can see how painful this game is for the Fairy Dragon. As Magical just gets his own free setup for the Remnants every time.
And Magical definitely not having the best game. Sorry, not Magical, Sunlight on the Puck. Definitely not having the best game so far.
I was about to say, I was like, how hard do you want Magical to work for this one? 7-1-9 right now, buddy. I was like, oh yeah, he had that one death. Oof. We've all been there, right? We feel like we're having a perfect game, but then you don't remember you had a death. Just one.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right. He's not Kuman Void, you know, but
that is true. Kuman has not died yet. See, something I don't think anyone else in the game can boast anymore. Yeah, just him. All net worth building, and just like mentioned, Kuman. Yeah, this is why you've been avoiding jumping on the Faceless Void so far, Omegalil. Don't change the plan right now. That's an easy one. Or the Remnant waiting for Malik afterwards means Slayer isn't going to die too quickly. And he'll throw out the Shadow Amulet usage along with his ultimate to try and buy a bit of time, just to ensure everyone else gets away. Of course, we're seeing the casual Shadow Amulet a lot more now, right? Because it's harder to have those free slots for detection on multiple heroes now.
Yeah, and I really don't like the fact that he throws out that Chain Frost right there, because now I feel like if you're Omegalil, you can kind of just force this a little bit. You don't have to be so worried. Like, I think that Chain Frost can be quite a big portion of the damage that they have that can, you know, be inside the Chrono.
Well, they might have to use their own thunder if they're not careful. Looks like Blizzy will be able to get away with the Invis Rune though. I mean, he was not getting lucky there. I think he hit Kellen about 8 times in total, including the swashbuckle. No disarms at all. Wrong Thunder, though. Out onto Malik. Now, last time we learned our lesson... Oh, he pushed him away from the Remnant. All right, they'll still be able to get him. That was starting to get a little bit messy, though. However, they might find an additional kill on the Happy Diarara. Who moves in, and good luck with that TP.
Yeah, can't escape.
Can never escape the Kuman. Looks like he is going towards the MKB next. So, I can actually understand as well, right? Like, when you look at Kuman in this game, if there's been one recurring kind of factor so far, it's that they never want to initiate on him, and they never feel like they can kill him. So, at this stage, you can kind of understand why he just says more damage is all I need.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to be forced to going BKB right now. You want to be able to save that for later, having a longer duration on your BKB for a time when you actually need it. And you also just, right now, you just want more damage.
Oh, Blizzy. Well, he just paid out the horn. Kellen may have made a mistake because he can't get across the fight. He's been stopped. In the meantime, the bot lane, they will bring down the Lich, maybe Kuman as well, but he's able to time walk away, and they lose Kellen in the mid lane. That was well executed by Cyberlexi. They're still on top of Kuman. He manages out, and he's able to time walk. He's staying alive. The Yule's is going to come out in terms of control him for the moment, but Bignum has arrived now. He hasn't got any spells to really help with. Yule's out again. They're trying so hard for this kill, but they can't quite get at the lift, and now the chrono goes down. Kuman stays alive for it all until the end when Diarara arrives, not only getting the kill, but keeping his puck alive. And Blizzy has to run away here with the Rolling Thunder. Bignum will be chased on too as well. It was looking so stylish from Kuman in the end, but all that was required was the Oracle that he has chronoed every fight to be outside of it.
Yeah, nice idea. He unfortunately didn't maybe see or notice the Oracle there.
And they're doing a really good job of just utilizing this Yule's aggressively in multiple areas of the map. Like, they're trying it now in a magical, and that's where they've jumped the gun a bit too much. Like, sure, chill out right now. You picked out the guy who's been farming, seemed unkillable, but magical definitely dishes out a lot more burst damage in these engagements as they're learning.
Yeah, and I don't know that you want to be going so much on this Void Spirit with these two heroes. Seems a little bit scary.
Like, it's basically the case for the park. You're always going to use that yours aggressively against magical, because if you try and use it defensively any stage, like we already mentioned before, that's a free remnant setup. It's not an easy matchup for the park for sure, not with this itemization. Especially now that we've got the Ags as well.
Yeah, I like the itemization from magical so far. I'm curious about the Yules. I of course see the idea in being able to dodge kind of the silences of the Earth Spirit and the puck.
Yeah,
you also might need more damage.
He's dishing out a decent amount still at this point, and Kuman meanwhile isn't really feeling too much pain. They've done it again. They went on him, and it may be a big mistake. Chainfrost comes out. They baited in Kellen as well. The buyback comes out from the Earth Spirit. Kellen looking to re-engage on top of Slayer, who has got the Shadow Ramlet, but won't protect him. Magical needs to be careful. He has got the Dissimulate in 2 seconds, but is silenced up. The lift comes out under the pot, brings him down. Nice silence out from Bignum. Should also stop any additional aggression as Magical's able to move away. Blizzy does go in, has the wrong Thunder to work with, is locked on the spot at the moment, and the roll through from XX Vampire will interrupt him again alongside the Yules. He just can't get his ultimate off, but they might be able to pursue for more. Vampire, he needs to roll out, but the insta-bash, follow up by another from Kuman, gets the kill. The Remnant on the Timbersaw, he's now secluded from the team. And I don't think you want to fight if you're Kellen. This is the moment that you salute your Timber and leave him to die. He is gone. Kellen, I said leave. Okay, he may regret not leaving now, because they're hunting. He actually had a moment to get out of this. If they get on top of him, he's going to be gone. Bash straight away. They zone behind them as well. Magical ensures that there's no protection coming out from the Oracle. They'll hunt him as well as Happy Diarara is being chased in. And the false promise is on to Kellen. It'll buy him a bit of time, but Wes is out. He tries to juke and jive. He's used the horn as well. He's going to die over. This is going from worse to, in fact, worse than the Chrono as well. Yes, you get Magical. Well done. You finally killed this Void. But guess what? There's a second one alongside him, and this is getting out of control.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that fight, they realized that they don't really want to be fighting this. They're not fighting or focusing the Spectre or the Timber. They're kind of just avoiding these heroes on the fight. They just find the puck and they kill him. They find the Earth Spirit, they kill him. They try to look for the Oracle. You know, if he's there, he dies. And after all of this, then they can go on the other targets. And this is going to be an 11k net worth lead for Cyber Legacy. They're going to get a, free uncontested Roche. And they're going to have Kuman now sitting almost 5k ahead of the the highest net worth on Omegalil.
Yeah, no, unkillable as well. I mean, I think you're right in that, right? That they're doing a good job of skirting around them. I had to double check there's no Bristle back on Omegalil's side, because that's how it felt. You know when you get those games where the team identifies the only way we lose this fight is if we engage that individual. That's really how they've treated every single one of these engagements. You know, there were stages where that wasn't too bad for Omegalil because it was like pick for pick, right? But I just feel like Sunlight is completely like patted off. He doesn't really have a place in this game right now.
No, I think Cal was kind of talking about it a little bit, how this hero is maybe not in the best place right now.
I think
going
he's
up against heroes like this Void Spirit, who also gets the Orchids, seems very scary. And I like this now. Magical decided to just skip going for the Yules and going for the BKB instead. And I like this. I think this is going to let you go into a more late game scaling build. You're going to be able to just do more in the game.
I agree. And they're trying to get in the mid lane. Moving it in by Kuman, zones out the fight a little bit. Rubik is still alive. They haven't brought him down just yet. They need to commit more. The Soul and False Promise used on himself to ensure he lives. In this situation, that's an acceptable thing for a support to do, consider it's a Rubik. On the side, look who they've caught. Puck again. No easy way out of this. He's going to jaunt to try and escape. They've already lost Happy Diarara. He'll be dead as well for 65 seconds. And, I mean, honestly, Spikeout, I believe what Kyle said is if Sunlight dies once, he's going to be losing. If he dies 9 times, I'm sure Kyle's molding.
I think he said if he dies more than once, right?
Well, yeah, I think he's like, yeah, he can die once and that's fine. 9 times, like where we at here now? Like, at what point do we say yes to retire?
Probably not good. I think in this game, like after he found the Radiance on the Spectre, we've kind of yet to see him participate properly in these fights. I think the idea once you get this Radiance should be, and especially with the lineup that you have, is you want to have the Spectre as a front line. You want the Spectre to be going in. He wants to like jump in with Haunt, jump on top of the supports, create some chaos in the fights, and make it difficult for this Void to find targets. And then he wants to just kind of get backed up by his team, you know, with the False Promise, set them up for success with their spell casting. But we've kind of yet to see the Spectre really join these fights the way you'd hope he would.
No, it feels like it's just gotten so hard for you to have that anarchy factor. You know, that kind of chaos element that comes out of the Horn. It splits the fights, and then Cyber Legacy should panic a bit. They don't seem to be doing that at all anymore. Like, if that starts to occur, they just stack up harder, because when you look at it, Cyber Legacy has so much AoE to dish out that it's actually Omegalil that have to be scared. And you can already see that as Omegalil is just trying to retreat from this bot lane. However, Vampire doesn't really have anywhere left to run. There's a lift ready to go. Silence comes out. The Yule's going to be there. They're saving the lift for when he comes down. And while he does use the silence, damage is already done, and he is dead. And they're in your base. Tifrey's almost gone already. Kuman is not leaving anytime soon. He does have the Chrono to work with. It's one of those classic you stare at everything die moment. As in the mid lane, Puck gets caught out by Magical's rotation. Like, this is the ridiculous part. They are there as free. Yes, he has an Aegis, but they're there as free, and you're not even putting a dent in Kuman. Instead, Kellen is the one who now has to worry. The bashes are coming out. They're favorable. The roll through is good. The false promise to save the day. Kuman could go for the Chrono opportunity in 2 seconds. He's got the time walk, but they won't need it. They'll just chase through casually, straight on top of him. Chrono does go down onto Malik in the end. He says, I want this one alone. Chain Frost to help it out. Flyback comes out. The Horn in as well. The SDR deep. But Bignum's not an easy kill anymore. And in fact, you may be the easy kill. Blizzy going to be brought low. Does have the swashbuckle as soon as he's not silenced anymore, but can't get it off in time. Magical trying to retreat. Has got another silence to work with. He backs away. Leaves Slayer behind. He is going to be brought down. The buyback from Timber may allow them to find more as they chase forward on the Bignum. Kuman will look to go back in straight away on top of Diarara. Does bring him down. Magic will be chased through on the back lane, but he does have the BKB to work with. Kellen's controlled up by the Remnant. The move across. If the bash is good, they can get the kill. But Kuman, no time walk for 2 seconds. Kellen just jiving and jiving, chasing on the Magical, but Magical doing much of the same as he moves away with the Dissimulate. Kellen's going to keep chasing. Malik's trying to help out, but he's so slow in comparison. And now the turnaround. They do get rid of the Aegis, but the silence should be enough damage to bring down Kellen. It's just not enough, though. 90 health left on the Spectre. We'll be able to TP away. They do find the Voice Spirit on the side, but the double silence comes out, and that's enough to control up and ensure that Kuman can clean up the rest of them. As yes, you will finally kill off Magical, but it is once again the Kuman shot. Well, I mean, Pycat, they've killed him once, so he's no longer got that clean sheet, but I don't know if they're ever going to kill him again. All right, my Pycat was so blown away by Kuman's Void, he's temporarily dead. By the time that Magical respawns, Pycat should be ready to talk again. He just needs to like chuck some water over his face, make some weird loud noises like he's someone out of The Sims, and celebrate the god that is Kuman right now, because there is nothing stopping this man. It seems nigh on impossible right now for the side of Omegalil. Maybe they fight other heroes though. However, those heroes are rearing for a fight as Kellen gets caught outside the base. Blizzy did misuse his spells though. Meanwhile, back in the base, Kuman finds the solo pick off on Dyrara. Vampire managed to roll away, but I don't know where Kellen's going here, because he's about to be cut off by Bignum. Moves around with Glimmercape, dagger up. He needs to buy himself 5 more seconds. It looks like Kellen can get away from this, because there's still no magical for 20 seconds. Problem is, they're going to need someone magical to get themselves out of this game at this rate. Oh, Yules, Bignum, he got the range. The courier sniped it out. And the courier will be sniped out itself, but Kuma doesn't care. He's like, dude, I'm not even getting kills in your own base. I'm setting up kills on the other side of the map. Anything else my team requires of me, I accept tips, PayPal, and direct bank transfers. What game does it turn into? And, you know, if you're on Omegalil's bandwagon, if you're a big fan of them right now, and you're like, Papa, help me. How do they fix this? Where do they look? It feels like Omegalil's only real play is to try and split the map, because your Spectre is gone for 85 seconds. They know there is no buyback as it was used in the last defense. So you have to somehow buy time. The problem is nobody's here to cut the waves. They can't, because you can see that Cyber Legacy have stacked around this bot lane so heavily. It will not take Kuman long to get through this. So you can already see Sunlight. He's kind of accepted that lane is probably going to go down. So he's just shoving in top as hard as possible to ensure that they can't directly convert that into mega creeps. Probably the only play they can make right now. As Bignum, I thought he was maybe doing a bit of shopping. We've seen that experience before. But he just wants an easy target. He has so much cast range right now. The telescope, the Aether lens, that's how he was able to actually catch the Spectre last time, despite not having any mobility items. And they decide to go for the throw. They will be deterred by the use of the repair kit. But right now, I mean, if you're Cyber Legacy, you don't have to end this quickly. You can just chill, wait for the next Roche, and then the emphasis is on Omegalil. If they don't come out to address that, they're signing their own death warrant. And when you do address that, actually, what have Omegalil got to work with? I feel like the items have been, like, the growth has been stunted. They've got to make some god tier play around this Dream Core. So they could catch Magical. It's just a concern of how long it still takes them to kill Magical and what they're killing elsewhere. Because the Chrono goes down on Kellen. He's already low on HP, and Malik's trying to help. The double Yules to buy enough time. The false promise used pretty early. The backline is going to be cut onto. Sunlight has to retreat, but straight into the arms of waiting teammates. The Dream Core does go down. The Haunt's going to be used. They're looking to fight here, but Kellen, he can't play into it. He's already low HP. He's gone down again. Dead for 80 seconds. That's the GG. They know without the Spectre, there is no hope in hell that they can stop Kuman.
Yeah, and they're going to finish it off with the triple kill for Kuman.
There it is. So was that a long moment of silence for Omegalil?
It went the wireless headset kind of just went out. So
You know, we've all been there, right?